Hi everyone, this broadcast today is a series of broadcasts. This is the third one we're going to be talking about how we are addressing the different types of sensitivities that our children with autism can experience. And today we're speaking about touch and tactile sensitivities, and they're all based from Temple Grandin's book, The Autistic Brain. And with this video, I'm going to be describing some short and long-term solutions for these challenges as well. If this is the first time you're joining me, welcome. My name is Tina Bishai. I'm the founder of Golden Healings, and it's here that I get to provide in-person and distant energetic healings to both adults and children. And of course, my love is especially to help those children with autism or ADHD, and to help relieve their symptoms from those things that they may be experiencing through life. And at Golden Healings, I really believe in addressing these kids holistically, physically, emotionally, and energetically, because if we're missing the energetic component, I think we're missing a huge component of what these kids are dealing with. So let's get started. I know we've talked about it the last three broadcasts, and the last two broadcasts, and this is the third. And today we're talking about touch and tactile sensitivities. So let's start by talking about how we can identify, recognize whether your child has a touch or tactile sensitivity. You may notice things like they pull away from somebody when they're hugged by a familiar person, or maybe you've noticed they prefer not to wear clothes, or they prefer to only have certain types of materials against their skin. Perhaps things like wool or scratchy materials can cause the most problems for them. You may have noticed that certain fabrics or textures they don't enjoy having by their skin either, so they can be sensitive to that touch or tactile stimulation against their skin. I have some examples here, actually, just to give you another idea, from a website called wrongplanet.net, just about some sensitivities that some people experience from symptoms from autism, and I'm going to read them to you here. I can't stand wet sand. I am incapable of touching soft things like teddy bears and soft blankets, especially when my hands are dry. I can't tolerate wet sleeves. I can't stand the feel of newsprint. It feels like teeny tiny splinters in all my fingertips. And the list goes on. They had a number of different people's quotes in there, and I just thought it was interesting to share, because to remember that everybody is unique, our children are unique, and they can have any kind of touch or tactile sensitivity. So I throw that out there to you. So even if you don't notice some of the things that I've mentioned, perhaps your child may have their own unique kind of touch or tactile sensitivity, if they do at all. So I wanted to share with you, of course, the focus on all of these broadcasts are about solutions. So I wanted to share with you short and long-term solutions for this type of challenge or sensitivity that our kids can experience. So short-term solutions can include things like deep pressure, which can help desensitize a person. And it can also help teach them feelings of kindness. So sometimes kids with autism can be desensitized and can learn to tolerate being hugged, for example, by wearing weighted vests or getting under heavy cushions or receiving even, firm but gentle massages. So that there are some ideas there if you notice your child is sensitive to touch. Sensitivity to scratchy clothes is a little bit more difficult to deal with or to desensitize your child with, but you can try washing their clothes several times before it's put against their skin or before they wear their clothes. You can also remove all the tags, which may irritate their skin. And also, if it's really bothersome to your child, even something as simple as a suggestion of wearing their underwear inside out so the seams don't rub up against their skin and bother them. That's another short-term solution you can try if your child experiences this. And the obvious thing is just if you have to, or if your child has to, just to avoid wearing those things that are irritants to them, like those clothes or fabrics with wool, for example. So those are some really practical and short-term solutions that I'm pulled out of The Autistic Brain by Temple Grandin, her book, and I want to share with you some long-term solutions that I've come across myself as a shamanic practitioner. Obviously, I know I've talked about this before, but we are energetic beings, and because we are energetic beings, when we don't address our energy field or our aura, we're not necessarily able to fully heal or relieve symptoms physically that we feel in our bodies. And so, you know, our aura or energetic field is our protective mechanism, and we want that to be full and strong and vibrant in its vibration and texture. And shamanic healings can help just to do that. And I think I've shared with you before, but I've been trained by the Foundation of Shamanic Studies over 3 years, and, you know, they teach us the basics. But what I've done over the last, I guess, over a whole period of 1.5 years, as I was dealing with my daughter's symptoms from Asperger's, I was working with my spirit helpers to provide her healings. And so, yes, I was using some of the basics that I was taught about through the foundation, but what ended up happening were my spirit helpers gave me really specific healings that could be used for these kids. And honestly, they have been really providing miraculous results. So I share that with you to consider that we need and have to address the physical and emotional components with our children in order to reduce their symptoms, but we also absolutely need to address the energetic component or their energetic field of our children and the energetic environment they live in order for them to be fully healthy and well and just experience joy and freedom and health and well-being that they so deserve. So I hope this has been helpful. I know that some of this information is not common knowledge, so I share that with you as a long-term solution, and hopefully the short-term solution shared with you for touch and tactile sensitivities can help your child as well. And next week we'll be doing the last of the series of broadcasts for these 4 different topics of sensitivities that our children can experience. So have a great day, and I'll see you next week.